Hey guys, it's been a minute since I posted anything, but I just felt to come on here and encourage. It's never a bad time to encourage someone, so maybe this will bless you, but I just got such a clear encouragement from God on the process of trusting Him, the process of building faith, right? Like Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6 is the best scripture to live by, right? It says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will and He will show you which path to take. But the first part of that is so hard. How am I supposed to trust in the Lord with all my heart and not depend on my understanding when my whole life my brain has been wired to depend on my own understanding? And it's building faith is a process. It's building trust is a process that God will bring you through. And so I just found this in I want to say scene, but it's not a movie, but in the Bible where Peter is walking on water, right? Jesus initiates this opportunity for Peter to trust Him. He says in verse 29, come and join me, right? And so basically, they're actually just coming from viewing this miracle that Jesus just did of the loaves and the fish, right? Multiplying all that. They are fresh out of that situation. So now there's a storm. Jesus comes up, says, come and join me, basically on the water. And then Peter is he probably sees Jesus. And so he steps out onto the water and he begins to walk toward Him. But when he realized, it says in verse 30, but when he realized how high the waves were, he became frightened and started to sink. Save me, Lord, he cried out, right? So Peter, now he wants to trust in the Lord. You see him literally, most humans would probably not step out of that boat. That's already huge. I think Peter had some big trust in God already just to step out of the boat. So he did, but then he sees his own understanding. He's like, what the heck am I doing out of this boat? So his own understanding takes over. But then he does this thing that is important to do. He cries out and he says, save me, Lord. And right after that, Jesus reaches his hand. He doesn't say, oh, you need to tread now, build some faith. No, he saves him. And then he does correct him and he says, why do you have such little faith? Why would you let doubt win? And then right after that, he shows Peter his faithfulness. And as soon as they get in the boat, the storm ceases, stops, everything. And then all the disciples bow down and worship Him. And they're like, wow, you are God. So Jesus will kind of start and end the situation with miracles to help us trust in Him. But then kind of strengthen our faith every time, because there's going to be testing in between Jesus's trustworthiness. And so I hope that makes sense. If you're going through a time this season where God is intentionally building your trust in Him, like that song Oceans, that's obviously based off of this scripture. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the water wherever you may call me. That is a bold song to sing to Jesus when you mean it. And I've sang it and I've meant it, and I didn't realize that in order to do that, He's going to test that. But I found at some point, the more that you overcome, he at some point, you're going to trust in Him and His presence and His word to you more than what you see. But it takes time and repetition. But the good thing is He's not have faith and then leaves you there. He says, have faith. He might give you a correction. Why did you doubt? But then after that, He's going to follow it with absolute proof on His faithfulness, His trustworthiness. He's going to show you the answer to the prayer you've been praying. He's going to come through for you. And it's after that you're going to see, why did I doubt? He always comes through. And after you see Him coming through again and again, that is what's going to build your faith. You don't have to just build your faith without seeing Him come through for you. So all that to say, the best thing that I think we could do is not condemn ourselves for not believing in certain moments, but realizing okay, when I pray, when I ask God, that actually gives Him an opportunity to prove His faithfulness to you. So if I just don't think He's going to help me and I don't even ask Him for help, or I don't ask for, if I just give up and I just think I'm always going to be a certain way or whatever, that's not good, right? He wants us to cry out for help. That way He could prove Himself trustworthy. So it's a cycle. So if anyone's beating yourself up for not trusting, not believing, don't do that, and just know it's a process. And if your faith is being tested, it means your faith is actually being built up. So have a great weekend and just thank God that he has decided to strengthen your faith, because that means you already have some, right? Peter had a lot of faith to step out of the boat. And I bet you have a lot of faith for what you're doing, and he's just pruning you, right? It says he corrects those he loves. He prunes those plants that already are bearing fruit just so that they'd bear more. So you're doing great. Have an awesome weekend. And maybe I'll post on here again soon. All right. God bless you.